Welcome to the 2020 edition of the American Gambling Awards. 2020 is throwing a curveball at all of us, so we're coming at you with a special edition this year. We'd hoped to be in New Orleans celebrating with our friends and colleagues from the industry, but instead, I'm coming at you from my personal office here in sunny Monaco, where I wear my double-breasted linen blazer to work every single day. But in all seriousness, we've got some important things to celebrate. We didn't want to cancel the program outright this year. We wanted to do something to keep spirits high in the industry. Frankly, there's a standout achievement in 2019 that deserves to be recognized. The genesis of the American Gambling Awards last year was really around public policy. There's plenty of award shows in the industry which recognize the commercial entities striving for greatness and growing and delivering great products to users. But we thought there wasn't enough attention put onto the policymakers, particularly for the US market, where if we don't get great public policy and if states don't open up and allow us to build this great industry of ours, then the commercial entities are limited in what they can even do. Therefore, it really makes sense to us to highlight the great work happening between lawmakers, policymakers, politicians, regulators, etc. And that gets us to our honorary recipient for 2019. Last year when we did the full program, we had a slate of expert judges. We had PricewaterhouseCoopers count the votes. That seemed like a bit of overkill for this year. So instead, the Gambling.com team has looked at the record. We've cataloged all the achievements in 2019. And frankly, there's just one fairly obvious and standout achievement which deserves to be recognized, and that is Michigan. Not only did Michigan pass sports betting, they passed online sports betting. Not only did they do that, but they did online casino games as well. They did it with reasonable tax rates, and they did it in an environment that was politically challenging with many different constituents, not least of which land-based casinos and Native American tribes. All of this was made possible by one individual who was the driving force behind the entire effort. This individual managed to get a bill passed in 2018 that unfortunately was never signed into law. They didn't give up, they kept going, and in 2019 they got the bill passed again, and then finally the governor signed that bill into law at the end of last year. So without any further ado, it gives me great pleasure to present the first honorary Golden Eagle to none other than Michigan's Representative Brandt Iden.
Awesome. Fantastic. Hey, Charles, how are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. This is just such a fantastic honor. Thank you so much. And your leading couldn't have been any better. I will tell you what, we worked so hard for this. And having been at your awards program last year, and obviously the award went to a great colleague and friend, Gary Pretlow, they call him the godfather of horse racing in New York, to be standing on the shoulders of giants. This is just really a fantastic honor. I've got the Golden Eagle here with me, and I really couldn't be happier. Very excited. Thank you.
Representative Iden, what advice do you have for other policymakers trying to follow in the next wave to get bills passed in other states and continue this great momentum we're seeing in the U.S.?
Well, you know, that's a very timely question, Charles, and one that I've been talking to a lot of my colleagues about around the country. In the era of the pandemic and of COVID, my colleagues need to be looking at new revenue sources. And I recognize that sports betting is part of that. It's obviously taking shape across the country. We're seeing that, and that's very exciting. But it's not just about sports betting. It's also about a regulated online casino gaming market as well. Tremendous amount of revenue opportunities there, but it's also about making sure that it's regulated to protect consumers. We need to protect folks that are already playing. We know that offshore sites are taking advantage in some cases. There's unscrupulous actors out there. there, and my colleagues need to be focused on that. So there's a lot of moving pieces. Whether you talk about the tax rate that you indicated, working with tribal entities, working with land-based operators, commercial entities, and every state is different. But really now more so than ever, it's so important that my colleagues focus on this, because all of our state budgets are going to be hurting, and we need new revenue opportunities. And this one, I believe, is one that's easily to capitalize on.
So, Representative Iden, what drove you to put as much effort into regulating online gaming in Michigan as you did?
Well, as you mentioned, this has been a 4-year effort for me. In 2018, we were able to get this thing across the finish line, a huge bipartisan effort between the House and the Senate. Unfortunately, the governor didn't see it the same way, and I didn't work as diligently educating the administration as I should have, and we learned from that. So I received the veto, unfortunately, after getting this thing as far as we did, or else we'd be up and running now. So be it. We went back to the drawing board. Whenever you fall down, you pick yourself back up again. And we said, okay, we've got a new House, we've got a new Senate, a new governor. This is an opportunity to retool. And we did that. And I actually think that at the end of the day, we spent a little bit more time with these bills and probably made them better, actually, in the long run. And so it was a process, one that, as I talked about, the regulatory environment was always important for me. But what I always come back to, the driving force for this 4 years ago, is just the fact that I'm a player myself. I'm a gambler inherently. I play craps. I play not so much slots and roulette, but I'm a craps player. I'm a cards player. I'm a sports bettor. I can tell you what, I've heard the word 7 out more times than I care to remember. But I just enjoy it, and I think it should be regulated. I think people should have the opportunity to play and play safely.
That's fantastic. It's great when you've got actual players that are pushing this forward, because that's the most important part of all of this. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank in receiving this award?
Well, obviously, the folks at Gambling.com have been amazing. It's so great to, even though we can't do this in person this year, and I wanted to be down at ICE with you folks as well. I was looking forward to going to New Orleans. This is still just such a tremendous honor. I want to thank my staff, my chief of staff, my colleagues, the governor for getting on board and working with us on this thing. It was a huge bipartisan effort. It didn't matter if you were Democrats or Republicans. This was about coming together and emphasizing good public policy for our state. I'm excited about it. We hope to have a rollout here at the end of the year, first part of next year, with our online platforms in the state, and it's going to be very exciting. Michigan is really a leader, I believe, out there, whether it is working with these the tribal entities, the commercial entities, whether it's the tax rate. We've set great public policy. It's an honor to be recognized, and I'm really thrilled. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Brandt, again, our pleasure. Thank you. We wish there were more people like you in the States that were pushing as hard as you've done. And thanks everybody for tuning in. That's a wrap on the 2020 American Gambling Awards, short and sweet. We look forward to coming back with a full program in 2021 and seeing you all in person, which will be well earned after the lockdowns in place now. So see you in 2021.